One of course capstones is the topic of inequality. Now inequality is a subject that students are extremely interested in. It's one of the things that they say they most want to study when they come and study economics. But most courses tend to pretty much leave it to the very end. If they touch on it at all, it's seen as a marginal topic. But inequality matters to everybody. Everybody is interested in it because inequality is fundamentally about who gets what. And there are few economic questions that touch people more closely than that. Now, we have a chapter on inequality, which gives a lot of details on causes, consequences, measurement of inequality, how to understand it, but also we weave the topic of inequality through the whole text. So it comes up when we talk about labour markets, because inequality is, in important respects, affected or determined by wage bargaining, for instance, between workers and employers. So when we talk about our model of wage bargaining, we talk about the implications for inequality. Technologies. When technologies change, there are winners and losers. And it's an important part of economic growth, but also it has significant consequences for inequality, so at least in the short term. So again, we analyse this effect when we talk about technology, when we talk about innovation. One of the novelties of core is the fact that we really embed our models and our economic understanding in a social and institutional context. And this is particularly true in the case of inequality. So what determines inequality is a lot of economic forces, but also, very importantly, economic institutions that are the context of economic interactions. So the institutions that determine wage bargaining make a big difference to inequality. How much bargaining power workers have versus to employers, that can affect the wage, it can affect unemployment, and it's going to have a knock-on effect on inequality as well. When we talk about relations between borrowers and lenders, there's inequality there. Depending on the bargaining power each one has, depending on their endowments, depending on the institutions that govern their relations, that's going to affect who does well, who does better, how well each party does out of those interactions, and that's fundamentally a question of inequality.